Hi there. I'm with Kate E Stokes. She's a writer and filmmaker. We've actually known each other for a good few years since probably the start of 2017, would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I just want to ask Katie some questions around creativity and, the whole process, because Katie's just made a wonderful video series and actually pushed the boundaries in terms of what you get in terms of the human experience when you watch these films, but also the technology used as well in the creative process. So thanks for your time here today, Katie.
Yeah.
So I just want to ask you, so this is quite a wide one, but where actually, what do you think creativity is?
Oh.
I know that's a big one.
It's, oh God, my brain just went, all things to all men. Thanks for that, brain. Yeah, wow. Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's what we're doing constantly, all the time, isn't it? There's, that we just, as humans, we're just unable to experience without creating some kind of meaning out of it, which kind of, to me, makes me think that our brains are just so wired for creativity. I mean, there isn't a thing that we can do without that we do without it. Like, it's constant.
Yeah, that's a really good answer, because there's so many ways you could answer it, right? There's no right or wrong, but it's yeah, for me, I see it as like a currency, a language. It's innately what we do.
Mm,
And funny enough, even though I am a creative at heart, I would say, I like making music, I like creative things. But I always thought it was a separate thing. It was like a wizard's hat I would wear, and it was
yeah,
stick. But then I realized that even when I'm not Pete the artist or the music maker or whatever I'm calling myself these days, I'm innately and I'm creative all the time, always,
yeah, yeah,
regardless of what I'm doing, it because I'm a human like everyone else, right?
yeah, yeah. We're just making up everything. So we're
Yeah.
making up
Yeah,
what
so
other
therefore
think.
every experience is therefore creative, right?
Yeah, and
Which
we're just
blows my
like,
mind. It's even scary to even contemplate that, because I'm like, how does that work then? Okay. Yeah.
just, yeah, oh, it's getting a bit deep, but it's just straight off the map.
It's fine.
It's
It
like
doesn't matter where it goes.
yeah, we're making up that this is a mug.
Mm.
That's like a pretty useful thing to make up
Yeah.
for us. Like without us making it up, then that's not. It takes thought to make it into a mug. Like I couldn't even tell you what was there without thought, because I could only go down to like lower levels of thought, going, oh, it's kind of a container shape and all those other things. But that's still stuff I'm making
Yeah,
up.
there's so many ways we could go there, particle physics and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah, just,
Nothing's solid, and we don't use the word again. Okay, I'll say it like the Matrix, that kind of thing. But it kind of is, because we are creating. I can see you, you can see me, but it's my experience of seeing that screen, which we're both on, right? And
mm,
it's different from what you can see, and also from your experience, it's different. And the only way we can check in to see where we meet in the middle is by communicating with each other,
yeah,
which is
yeah.
it's kind of mind blowing, you know.
It is it like we're just making up who we are
Mm.
in any moment. Like we just uh there are times when like I feel really official, like I know what I'm doing, and there are times when I just feel like a really kid and annoyed with somebody, and
Mm.
like we're just making up our own image, and somehow we think it's really solid and permanent.
Yeah.
But, it's like we're not even experiencing ourselves as ourselves the whole time. Like half the time when we're like involved, like especially in creativity, like when we become involved in that, or like when we become involved in a conversation, that even that we forget to create ourselves at the same time.
Mm.
Then all there is that experience you're having.
Isn't that the sweet spot though? I guess that's why people call it, getting in rabbit hole, getting in flow. I don't know about you. I mean, I got so addicted to it as a creator that
Mm.
sometimes that was the thing that caused me a lot of stress and anxiety, because I went looking for it, looking under my seat, where's my creativity gone? And then only realized that once you get over yourself, the ego bit, and,
Mm.
and you get into, that state where it's not that you don't care, but you're just humble, you're just back in the room, that it comes back. I call it, it's almost like a conduit, you're a satellite receiver. So if you're just okay and comfortable in your own skin, it comes back. Whereas when I was looking to attach it to something, or I want to get creative today, so therefore it has to be this and that, and then I get
Mm.
stressed, and then guess what? Nothing had happened. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not even. I don't know why I'm saying it this way, but yeah, it's not even a magical thing. It's something that happens all the time. Like I know when like there are some things with that were like when I'm creating that it's really easy for me to create, and then there's other things that I like have to work harder at. Like with the when I sit down to write, I have to like consciously realize that it's not like me doing it. And when I say that, I mean like that sensation of I,
Mm.
like when I realize that it's just a sensation that is sometimes there and sometimes not there, like the sensation of like the color red, like it's so tangible, that's color, but it doesn't exist anywhere except for in your own experience.
Mm.
And it's the same, like that feeling of being me only exists inside my experience. And it's like and when it's not there, when I'm talking to you or when I'm creating, then the rest of me can come online
Yeah.
and do the creating. And like I realized it in talking. I think that's where I saw it first, that it's not that sensation of I that's doing that talking. That's there's something else doing that. It's like I used to get really panicky about the fact I didn't know what the end of my sentence was going to be. And I
Mm.
thought that was something personal to me. Like I thought, or like Katie can't Katie's not very good at talking because she doesn't have a clue what the end of the sentence is.
Yeah.
Or and then I realized, oh, that's because it's not that sensation of I that ever did it anyway. It's like it's something deeper, like whether you think it's like it's just a different program in your brain that's doing
Mm.
it, or something more
Yeah.
spiritual. But it's not it's like that sensation of I, that all that does is do I.
Yeah.
And like it's like, but there it like there's I, and then there's other programs in your brain that do like making things or doing stuff,
Mm.
working out problems and stuff, and then this little I comes in and says it did it, like it tries to take
Yeah,
it.
that's an interesting one, isn't it? That in the past, if I let my ego really get into it, then I'd be like, I'm the best DJ in the world, I'm the best music maker, I'm the best producer, all of this stuff.
Mm.
But actually, the I doesn't take any credit for it. As you say, there's somewhere beyond, in this meat suit, there's I've got a label, I'm called Peter. But as you say, when you get into real, not even deep state, you just go somewhere else when you create, and you're in
Mm.
your element. It's amazing, and almost time and space is irrelevant, right?
Mm.
So how the hell can you come back, when you're back into this world right now, and you're not in creative mode? How can you actually lay claim to that, if that makes sense? It's interesting, because for
Yeah.
me, I've got nothing on it. Of course, I'm really proud of stuff, and I'm like, wow, that's really cool, but I'm
Mm.
less likely to go, wow, that's all me, because it's coming from somewhere much, much bigger than an individual, if that makes sense.
Sure. And the like, because I'm not bothered if this takes, like, the I takes claim of it or not, because like that's all it can do. Like it's like that, like that I can't create anything apart from judgments about itself. Like all I can do is make a self-referential thought. So it can only say oh, I'm not doing this very well, or I'm doing this great, or like they're not doing that well, or they're doing it great, or whatever. Like so like if I want to create something, I don't want to be fixated on this feeling of I, because that's all it can do is judge what I'm doing. Like if I want to create something, I've got this vast resource of like that, well, infinite creative potential is the way the mind's made. So like if I'm not doing the judgy thing, then I can hang out in this other area, which is letting it
that's a good reminder that if we don't get in the way of it with this I, or there's something wider than that, then it's actually limitless, right? Or that's what I get experiences of that.
Yeah.
I guess the next question would be, a good segue into it. We talked about what is creativity, but where does that come from? Because I've got no idea. I can give you some theories or some ideas. I mean, like when they go down the rabbit hole, so to speak, and I disappear and I'm in my element, and it's a wonderful experience. And then I pop back into the room like I've been teleported back after time traveling somewhere. But where does that come from?
I don't know. It's beautiful, eh? I think it's got something to do with the fact. Well, I don't know, but like to me, like I love the way the mind works in connections, like rather than as I understand it, which is very amateur neurobiology. It's the connections between things rather than like things themselves. Like we don't have like a neuron for red or whatever. Like there isn't like a mug again doesn't have, there isn't a thing in the brain that is that. Like that is made out of a whole load of connections. So like and to me that's I can totally see why that would make us creative, because we only need to put one of those connections to something different, and we've got something that's half mug, half Play-Doh. And what would that bring? Like the so I think it's a genius way of designing a mind.
Wherever it came from, that actual design we have, the human, what's in our head in that side of our brain. But what blows my mind every day, it seems to have, we talk about receiver or being a conduit or whatever. I used to think that it's inside my skull, right? There's no other thing. But as you said, if you talk about the connection bit, we're connected over long distances, beyond space and time with everything. I know that sounds a bit wooey, but that's kind of how I feel when you disappear into that flow or that state of wow. And then as you say, a limitless amount of possibilities. If you're in creative mode, it can go anywhere. The only time there's a brick wall is, it's actually something that we put in front, right?
And like it's interesting to me that we don't need to have a concept for that. So we don't need to know what that is or how it works or anything, because it doesn't look to me that how it all works is something that the human mind could understand.
We'll never be able to comprehend,
right? Yeah. And so like for me, I love the thought of being able to hang out in the not knowing of that. Like I think somebody somewhere said that was like a really fertile place. And it's that it's good to, like, when I know that feels good, that I don't know what's going on, it also makes it more a possibility that to be there in front of a blank page ready to write, that place of not knowing is also fertile. Like anything could come up from there.
I want to mention that just what you said, repeat that's really cool what you said, because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I've seen this myself, and when I speak to other people who are creating things, although sometimes it's not a comfortable place, that blank sheet of paper, that sitting there with nothing, you're on the cusp of something amazing, right? And I've learned this the hard way being a musician, that sometimes I've had too many toys in the studio, and then I'm overwhelmed, and then I'm like, what the hell do I do? But actually, even that's good, because as soon as I start to go, I've got nothing in the tank, and you give in, that's
Yeah, yeah,
that's when you're ready to go, right? Which is
yeah,
kind of annoying, because my ego doesn't like that shit, because it's kind of like, okay, I want to know, I want to have a clear starting point. But actually, that's when I can limit those amazing things that could happen next. And that's the thing, you don't even need to have anything on it, because there's no point in even trying to predict it, right? Because you'll be able to work out what that's going to be. Even though in hindsight, we always try and reverse engineer it, right? I know I do a lot.
oh
Like,
yeah,
yeah, I know
yeah.
how I got there. And then, trust me, I've tried to do it. And then I'm like, I've got no fucking idea. I don't know how that happened. Even though I'm quite, we can all get very good with our skill set in terms of our particular thing that we're doing. So I would say I'm quite skilled as a musician, and I know how to, I know synthesis at a deep level. But again, there's certain things that have happened, or sounds that have come out, or happy accidents, where I'm like, wow, what the hell was that?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I've spoken to so many people about how they got to where they were, and they've said, don't know. They're just like, I could lay claim to it, or tell you that,
yeah.
from an academic, or use my intellect to try and get you to that point, but it's not going to be useful for you, because I have no idea, if I'm really honest.
Yeah, this is what I love about the, like, knowing that we make it all up. Like, means that you can sneakily find truth in any concept. Like, or you can live out the truth in any concept. So like when like to have a completely blank page gives you like an infinite possibility. So like that's great. And then to be completely constricted about what you can create, that also brings something. That's great too. And it's like having a really strict structure. That's great. And then like letting these happy accidents come, like, that's great too. Like there isn't. We're so keen to find a concept and hang on to it, and
Yeah.
and say that that's the truth. But
Yeah.
like, and I think we should, like, I think that's totally cool to do that, and I think it's totally cool to go, oh, but there's like the opposite concept work for us too. Like we can just
Yeah, well, here's the thing,
that
right?
concept.
I think that's great to hear, that it's okay whichever way you go, right? And I love that whole thing about, there seems to be a lot of talk as well about restricting yourself, and I think that's great, because sometimes it's there, right? And other times it could be financial limitations. Let's be honest. We were talking before about your budget. You want to really innovate and do something that's never been done, but the reality is always going to be how much money people are willing to support you, or you've got the tag for all of this. And it's the same for anything. There's only so many things I'm going to be able to buy to make what I need to do. I'll give an example. At the moment, I'm building like a live show, where it's also going to be more of a place where I can come up with new ideas, palette wise, to make music. And at the moment, this technology doesn't exist. What's in my head? so it's not even so much a money limitation. It's more, no one's invented it, and it's either down to me trying to invent it, which I'll be honest, I'm not clever enough, and I'm reaching out to people. I'm like, I want to do this, and I think you've got something that's gone halfway. Let's have a chat.
Yeah, but this is like, I find this really exciting because I'm beginning to wonder if everything is possible. It's just it has to be created by thought first. So because everything's made out of thought, and thought is infinite, we should be able to make anything once we've got the right thoughts. So like the fact that you've had this thought about this thing that could be made, like at some point it could well be made, because you've now made it into a thing. It's like, I find it interesting, like, did it always exist and just needed to be found? Like, did the idea of a computer just need to be found, or did it just not exist before it was created by thought?
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, I love these conversations. I mean, we could go on for hours with this stuff, right? Yeah, all these ideas just seeds everywhere, and they're sitting within our collective consciousness. And as
Mm,
creators, or well, anyone for that matter, that's the thing. I want to be clear with this. I mean, part of the reasons why I'm, speaking to people like yourself and having conversations, which I love, is simply because I want to point everyone towards the fact that we're always creative. It's
mm,
not just about, it's not kept for a unique few, or as I used to believe when I was younger, you have to be the top 1%, otherwise who are you to therefore be creative, or give yourself a label as an artist. But then I speak to people, who completely convinced that they're not creative, and then I see them in their natural environments, and I would even say they're more creative than me in that moment. That's,
mm,
who am I to measure it? And I think that's the limitation. We tell ourselves a narrative a lot of the times, and that's the simple misunderstanding, that if we just don't get in the way of that, then
mm.
we can do anything. And again, you've got to be careful when you say that, because I don't mean the American do anything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Makes sense. Not that I've got anything against Americans, just to be clear, but that Western old way of thinking that came after the Second
yeah,
World
yeah,
War,
yeah,
you can put your mind to anything, but you can. But it's just, what was missing, correct me if I'm wrong, was that at that point we just didn't still understand our own psychology enough.
yeah,
Now
yeah.
it's,
It's
yeah. Sorry, go on. Yeah.
oh, yeah, but it's hard to. There's so many things that pop up when you have a conversation. I'm like, oh no, am I
I know.
taking the bait into here?
Yeah.
Like it's what you were saying about the what you would call the American idea of anything. Like it's like I saw something really clear about abundance. But when you talk about abundance, it looks like it always seems to end up with like diamonds and cars, fast
Yeah.
cars or whatever. Like, whereas like what I saw about abundance was in my kids. I remember they were sitting there, and I'd given them 4 crates from
Mm.
Tesco's, and they were both sitting in them. They both had like a car each, basically, and then there were 2 more crates that they were going to have as gardens. I think they decided
Mm.
they were, but they were both fighting over the same one.
Yeah.
And like there was another crate there, but like neither of them wanted that crate because in their minds it was this crate. And I love it with children because you can see it so clearly because it looks so irrational to us.
Yeah.
But it's exactly the same thing going on. Like we think we want that job, and somebody
Mm.
else is going for it too, or like um to a piece of art, and somebody else is doing
Mm.
that, or like and I could clearly see that the only reason that they couldn't see abundance was because they had a thought that said it had to be that. And
Yeah.
and at that moment, I saw that we're swimming in abundance. It's only our thoughts that's saying that no, it has to be this way. It's like say I'd run out of coffee
Mm.
and I feel like I'm lacking, but actually like there's it's only that thought that stops me from realizing I have water, I have tea,
Mm.
I have um
Well,
it's not the abundance. It doesn't the lack of abundance doesn't come from out there. The lack of abundance comes from like in here, like from how we say it looks.
yeah, I mean, we just forget that when we get needy, and this has helped me a lot of late, especially in the last couple of years since I've, you know, been looking in a certain direction, that we create that whole experience from inside us, right? So
Mm,
if I'm coming from a place of neediness, I want something, and yeah, exactly that. I want what someone else has got when there's more than enough to go around. But I want what that other person's got, and that's never going
yeah,
to work, is it? And that's
yeah,
going to lead to us, in extreme cases, anxiety, torturing ourselves, etc., etc. But the cool thing now, I see it on different like layers, because we can't stop it happening, right? Um, it's just the difference for me, or what the game change has been, that when I spot it, I'm less likely to bash myself about it and go, "Oh, that's interesting, didn't see that." Whereas before, I'll get really fearful around the fact that I didn't notice it, and even cause myself even more problems.
yeah,
But it's amazing, yeah. If you see it in kids, yeah, because it's so clear because they've
yeah,
got nothing on it, and they're at the stage where their mind is so malleable and
yeah,
clean from all of the stuff that gets stuck to it when we become adults, from people telling
yeah.
us stuff and the over experience, right?
Well, it looks, basically it looks real to us. And when we look at them, they're doing the things that we do it about look real to us. When we see them doing it, it looks silly. Like my oldest is 6, and he's really upset that he hasn't lost any teeth, like, and that the other children have.
So
And it's
cute.
like it's really like, oh, for him, he's like, why am I the last to lose my teeth? And like and again, I could just see that I do that all the time. It's just, for me, the things look real, like
Yeah, me too.
but
I mean, look at when you social media is the worst one. I'll be like,
yeah,
why am I not as successful as person X? And
yeah,
again, it's not. I'll be really grateful at what they're doing, but I guess it's a bit of envy, and also it's like, well, what are they doing that I'm not doing? And
mm,
actually, it's because if you don't have neediness on it and you just connect to who you really are and crack on with stuff, it
yeah,
round full circle anyway. I think that the message is like, when I start to do something, I'm always looking to, I guess, give a gift out. And I think that's the best starting point for me. Whereas I'll stop doing stuff if I spot that I'm doing it because I need it, if that makes sense,
yeah,
or
yeah,
I'm better than anyone else. And it all happens. The ego kicks in. I want to
yeah,
make this piece of music because I want it to be better than person X. That
yeah.
makes sense.
That's it's a really uncomfortable
But
place
it's
to be.
utterly ridiculous when you think about it as well,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
because again, it's your own little narrative in your own little head, uh,
yeah,
and no one knows that's going on
yeah,
until you obviously tell someone or they share it like this. And
yeah,
then when you spot it, it's like, okay, have a word with yourself, but in a
yeah,
loving and more softer way, where I'll be like, didn't see that. Okay, next, it's fine.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, well, I mean, that's just him popping up again, isn't it? Like, it's just no, we don't. It's only that thought of I, that sensation of I, that would need to have your music be better than somebody else's. Like, why would that matter? Why does that matter?
Well, here's the power, right? Now I'm creating most of the time, unless, like I say, you don't spot it and it's a blind spot. I'm
Mm,
doing it because it just lights me up. I really enjoy it. And for me,
yeah,
it's so much more powerful because I'm not needing to do it. It's not, I want to do it because it's something that excites me, but that's a different
yeah,
right. There's nothing wrong with wanting to do something and be really excited about it. But when,
yeah,
when the neediness kicks in, I usually just ponder with it. I don't really even give it that much thought. It's just like, why is that happening? And, like our thoughts and feelings, it just passes overhead. And then I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go. Whereas in the
yeah,
past, I would mitigate it with other things or try and make it complex. And then that's where it got a bit shady because I'd be like, don't know where to go now. I want to do
yeah,
it. Do I need to do it? And, there'd be too much going on. Where now it's like, I want to get up and make music. That's it. That's the default starting place. And as you said before, I'm more likely to go, don't know what's going to happen, but I'm just going to go with it. Whereas
mm,
I need to do it and it needs to sound like this and it needed to be better.
yeah, yeah.
That's not really going to help. Or for me, that seems like it's it's on unsteady ground, right?
Yeah, I think like culturally,
Mm,
and therefore in our own thoughts, like we've really stuck creativity and other things together. Like, I think we've really stuck them together with success. Like,
mm,
creativity is meant to be successful,
yeah.
and in fact, that, like, the two concepts are a little bit opposite. Like, you, you if you're trying to be successful, that's that's not the part of the brain that creates, like, because that's that big. the
Yeah.
And I saw it so clearly in a brilliant documentary. I can't remember what it's called, but it should be easy to find. It's about 3D, the people who were inventing the 3D printers, and
Mm,
there was they followed a whole load of different people that were at the beginning of the 3D printing revolution, and we haven't actually got to the revolution bit.
mm,
The they there was this amazing group of people that they were doing it open source. There was so much creativity flowing in, and I just loved watching them. It felt so exciting, and I realized, like, oh, I'd really love that. I'd love to be able to, create with other people in this kind of way. And then they go on to sell the company to a bigger company, and it becomes something that's trying to be successful. And it was the first time, so this was a few years ago when I watched it, but it was the first time I realized, oh, look, it's not success that I'm actually wanting. It's this like fertile creative place that I want. And like that, to me, I'd put success as like selling the company and getting money and recognition.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh no, success is like creating that in the fertile place. That's the place I wanted to be. And it was like it's a massively releasing thing.
Yeah, it's a game changer, right? Because because I guess that's what we all really want. We've just got it in, especially again, I'm not going to bash Western society, but just to say it one last time, I mean, it's that simple misunderstanding again that success is attached to things, physical measurement. And I spoke to an academic of late, and we've become good friends. And I'm going to be doing this, I guess, be part of this creativity conference.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, which is really nice. But they're very academic, which totally fine. And I'll have amazing conversations. But the narrative keeps coming back to, how can you be an artist if you're not getting paid for it right now? And I'll be honest, at first I got really arsey because I was like, what are you on about? It's got nothing to do with that. And I guess I had something on it as well. So the first time it was recorded as well. It's on YouTube. I'll send it. I'll share it with you so you can have a look, because you could tell I got really pissy. But I didn't realize, it wasn't like I was on the attack. But what I realized is that people feel comfortable, as you know, especially with psychology as well, putting things in pigeonholes. Look at music genres. People, it's you make techno. I was like, okay, do I? It's just music to me. Okay, if you want to label it. Same with creativity. They're like, well, if you're creative, we need to measure it. And we don't know if you're a good creative because how much money have you been charging for your work and all this stuff. Isn't it? And that's the thing. I guess I would have been the same, because I think where I messed up my music career quite a bit and it got really shady was when I started, again, the neediness to make money, or to sign to the better record label, because weren't looking after me and I'm a better artist than you and all. And they were saying to me that I can't remember who wrote the book, but they were saying that this one academic was saying that you can't be a creative as an artist unless you're getting paid for it, otherwise you're not real. And I was like, wow. Imagine that message out to kids. And I was like, that's the opposite of where I want to be. Because, and again, I'm not judging. It's just that I don't think they understand it, because exactly what you said, you hit the nail on the head, that you want to be with like-minded people and you want to get in that state where that fertile land where anything could happen. I think if you could be more and more in that state, that would be success to me. I can totally that. Whereas the other way, it always leads you down the garden path of hitting a brick wall, really. Even if you get, monetary success from it, if that's your measurement, then it's kind of, I'll be happy when, right?
Yeah.
So what do you do when you're preparing yourself to get creative? Do you do anything at all to get yourself in any space? Is there any preparation? I mean, again, I know it depends on what so I know you're a writer, and obviously of late you've been making some films as well. But is there anything you do at all?
I think for the writing there is, like, I mean, there's like I never have to set myself up to be creative, because that's just coming all the time. So like I have about like 4 or 5 notebooks on the run that are just in different places around the house, and I'll be like dealing with the kids and then run off and write something down on the notebook. and I hardly ever look at those notebooks again, so I don't know what happens to all those thoughts I have. But like so I don't sit down and go, right, I'm going to be creative now. It's normally I sit down and go, I can get all that down out. But with the writing, because I'm like just coming to the end of I call it my first draft, but I've done those what do you call them, like a synopsis of it first. So but yeah, and I find actually writing harder than some of the other creative stuff I do, like writing a novel harder, just getting into it. So then I consciously decide to put, like, show up and ignore myself. I consciously decide to put like that sensation of I aside, and to like that. I mean, it forever pops up again.
Yeah.
But like just my understanding that it's not me that's doing it, is in the same way that it's not me that knows what the end of the sentence is. It just, my brain will get to it when it's time to get to it. And the same thing with the writing. I have to, I pop it to the side, and I used to do it anyway without the understanding. Like I used to go, right, these are my gremlins. Like I used to say, like, no, you're gremlins.
Yeah.
Like, so, like going, oh, you can't write, and all of those things. I would just be like, I would give it to that thought to a gremlin rather than own it myself. And so, you know, like the gremlins are quite happy to, you know, hang around. They can just dance on the table. I don't need to get rid of them. They can just be there. And now I suppose I just do that. I just kind of remind myself where it actually comes from, so that I don't have to do it myself. Like, and
that sounds really cool, because it's almost like you're giving yourself permission just to what's the right word? Let go. There's no control required, right?
Yeah. And I'm just not going to listen to any judgments, because that's not what's going to get it down on paper. I had something else to say then. Yeah, it's a lot less scary, because like if I have to think, I don't know what's going to be on that paper, and it doesn't happen magically either. You know, like it doesn't just then go and like I'm just like not even there writing it. No, it's just really really hard work, and I suppose it's a bit like a meditation, in that like like I'll be writing. You know, that sensation of judgment comes in. I remind myself that that's not what I'm doing here. You know, that's not who's writing, and continue on. And it's a bit like meditation. I didn't used to be able to get it or do it, and then somebody said to me that it was it wasn't the losing, like if you were thinking concentrating on your breath, it wasn't the forgetting and wandering off that was wrong. It's the when you bring yourself back, that was he said that was the muscle curl, you know, the bicep curl. And I so got it then, because it didn't matter how many times you wander off. It was like the bringing it back that was the thing that really does it for you.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit in the same with the writing. It doesn't matter how often, like, or creating it, like the WonderlandX or whatever, it doesn't matter how often like I suddenly like take it personally or identify with all those judgments or anything. It's just they're going, oh yeah, and like bringing it back. And so I kind of hope that that's a muscle that, you know, like.
Yeah, but I think that's really good for people to hear. It's valuable, because it's just being comfortable and remind yourself that, okay, yeah, I'm back in the room again, and it keep happening. You know, we're going to have doubts, or like you say, there's going to be some gremlins sitting on our shoulders saying,
yeah,
you'll be able to do it. And it's like, okay, noted, gonna crack on.
yeah It's like you do get those beautiful moments of like you being in the flow where nothing else exists. That's lovely, but then that's not the only place that it gets created. Like it gets it gets created when there's still a battle between the gremlins.
Yeah, and the thing is, I mean, I would say there's a lot of times when I don't like that battle, but then I'm lying to myself because I actually do enjoy it as well. You know, because it's that whole waveform of human emotion. It's going to be there because that's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
experience is, right? That's what life is. That's what
yeah,
being creative is. I think the tricky bit is so many books say that it's going to be beautiful and you're just going to sit on a cloud and it'll just run through you like a laser beam, and that
yeah,
does happen, right? But
yeah, yeah,
it's in and out, in and out. It's all over the place for me, or at least that's what
yeah,
it you know, if I had an X sketch thing, the whole page is full of like it's all
yeah,
over the place, and then afterwards
yeah,
I'm like, wow, that's beautiful, but where I got there, it's like, wow, it's a mess, you know. It's like,
yeah. And it's like writing and creating, coming up with ideas. Like to be honest, nothing makes me more high. You know, like I get so, you know, real highs doing it, and I get real lows doing it.
yeah.
And I think that you know, that's what we're playing with. I think we must never forget this. You know, like
But that's okay, right? It doesn't
yeah, absolutely.
matter.
And that
And I think
somebody,
that's what stopped me, right? I used to get so
yeah,
fearful about the low bit that it would stop me from taking any action at all.
yeah,
And
yeah,
for example, I had a really particularly dry year when I got to Berlin. You know, where on social media I had records coming out and things were happening, but in reality, I was so scared of my own psychology that I
yeah,
was doing everything
yeah,
else to procrastinate and go out and do other stuff, as opposed to actually making content, until I caught it and I was like, now I know where my experience is coming from back in the room.
yeah.
And then obviously that meant I could go and do it. But crucially, as soon as I got back and started taking action again, it was still all over the shop. It's just, it was different because I knew, or most of the time I could spot where my experience was coming from, I guess.
Somebody said this amazing quote, and I need to go and find out what the quote was. But like, so what I remember about it was saying how important it was to stand in solidarity with like what I heard was stand in solidarity with the human experience. And I think that's why it's so important for me to share like how messy my human experience is, like, and that there's 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 no amount of understanding that is going to unmess it, you know, like
Yeah,
so like
that's really beautiful to hear, because we all hear the narratives are a complete opposite, right?
yeah,
You know, I'm blessed and this has happened and all. And there's nothing wrong with that, but
yeah,
it kind of paints the picture that it's all perfect, and when it's not, because that's, you know, we've all seen it when, like you say, when we're in the middle of it, especially in the middle of something, you know, I really resonate with that. If you ever had
yeah,
a messy middle, it is tricky,
yeah,
especially when you're embarking on a project that requires many other moving parts. As a creative, the middle bit's horrible, or at least it is for me, because I'm like, I'm done with this. I just want it done
yeah, yeah,
at the time. But then the next day, I'm like, this is fucking brilliant. And
yeah,
it's just up and down, up and down, up and down.
yeah,
Yeah. And you know, there's times when you think, wow, does it have to be this way? But why not? If it is what it is, right? But always we're fine, right? And it's only when we forget where that experience is coming from that the wheels come off, so to speak, and we're like, okay, I don't want to do it anymore.
And the funny thing is, like this, the idea of this, like standing in solidarity with the human experience, that's it's like not only what kind of sharing now, it's how I think you create. You have to create creative stuff through that, like in standing with solidarity, and what we actually create. I think it is really moving and really impactful when it comes from that place. Like when you're standing in solidarity to that human experience, what you're creating is will resonate with people, you know, like it's kind of like how we make the art and what's in the art. And
Yeah, that's
like
interesting, because it's coming from where everything else is coming from anyway. And if we're not getting in the way, I guess it's in its purest form, which when it's packaged and it comes out to the world from the universe, I guess, yeah, I can understand why people would probably resonate with it better, because it is what it is, right? I'm not going to say it's real. You know, it's baked, it's done.
Yeah.
And what do you do anything about, for example, I used to really torture myself about dry spells and writer's block, and like remember I said before, I'll be looking under my seat. Where's it gone? Why has someone switched it off? All this rubbish. When actually, if I just went out and did something else, or did, you know, funny, they just don't focus on it, and then it's back. But how was it for you? What's your experience with that?
Well, it's interesting. Like, I don't think I have an experience of that. Like I think I have. Like creativity has never looked like something limited to me. So the like this is kind of interesting because I've probably experienced the same thing but seen it differently. You know, like when people see things as excitement or fear. Like I never thought that it was me drying up, like, or that I wasn't getting creative ideas. Like I've had patches where I thought, God, I'm just not very good at getting stuff done. You know, like I've always thought it may or may not be the same thing, but looking back now, I'm thinking perhaps what I've just seen it as procrastination. Like I've never no, I always say I have the opposite problem. Like I've just sparkly new ideas, like squirrel, like it's like.
It sounds like you just didn't have anything on it as much as I did in the
Yeah,
past.
no, yeah.
Because I kind of attached it. Like I said, if I couldn't do something, I'd be like, I'm rubbish at it now. And actually, it's too difficult. And then I would get so fearful that I would look and convince myself to go and do anything but what now lights me up and what I should always have been doing anyway, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say I just don't have that problem because I didn't think that problem up.
Which is cool.
Yeah. It's like and it's interesting to look at that and then like to look at an area of your life where you just didn't think up that problem, so you didn't have that problem, and think about somewhere where you do have a problem. Like, what's the difference between the two? Like, one you've got loads thinking about, the other one you just haven't got thinking about.
Well, you know, if you say like that, what just hit me then is there is no difference, right? I mean, the label is we're talking about creativity, but correct me if I'm wrong, all of us, every human on the planet, all 8 billion of us, right? We all have areas where I would say the blind spots. So if you draw a massive circle,
yeah.
Here I'm cool, here I'm cool. Oh, didn't see that before. Shit, where did that come from? And it's going to happen. I think the key to success or just having an amazing life is just not getting in the way of it and just going, okay, next. Whereas before I would attach it to something that doesn't exist as well.
Yeah.
I'm making this up anyway in real time. And I'd be like, okay, I haven't been able to make music today because of this, or it's so-and-so's fault, or this has happened, or the sun's not shining, so therefore I'm not creative. You know, all this rubbish. And then as soon as you see that that's the case, it's like, okay, next. I can carry on regardless. Okay, I'm hearing what I can, or I'm seeing that, but is that true? And just pulling yourself back and going, is that really true? And get curious about it. And then you go, no, it's not true. Okay.
Yeah. And I love the, Byron Katie thing is, can you know that's absolutely true?
Yeah.
Like, because it's so easy to say, yes, that's true, but can you know that's absolutely true? You're just like, I can't quite say that.
But how much of an amazing gift is it to even ask yourself that question?
Yeah.
On a daily basis. I think that's the juice for me, It's like, is that really true? What am I experiencing here? Is that reality? Is that going to be helpful? No. Okay, let's crack on. And crucially, that doesn't mean that you're going to be in a good mood or even confident. It just means that, okay, I've spotted it. I'm still feeling what I'm feeling, but I'm going to have a good crack at it anyway.
And it's, I'm beginning to think that maybe, like, is that useful is quite a useful question. Like we spend so much time trying to think, is it true or not? And then we just get we just bring our lawyers on you know, to, to whatever looks more true to us, we just get the lawyers for that thought. Whereas like, is it useful? It's kind of, yeah, well, no, that's not useful. So like, why would I keep that thought now? Or why would I obey what that thought is saying? Like, it's not useful.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it might be useful, right? But again, it's just being able to, when you spot it, because that's the thing, we have no control. I'd love to say that we do, right? And
Yeah.
that got me, you know, especially over the last couple of years, it got me fearful, it got me excited, because I love exploring and talking about this stuff. But I was like, wow, if I've got no control over it, how does that work? What am I doing then? You know, and it just starts to question everything. But then I got really excited because it's like, well, that means I'm free to play. Or at least from a psychological perspective. Of course, our physical bodies can be messed up. We can injure ourselves. We can lose all of our stuff around us. But in terms of our own well-being, it's fine, right?
Yeah.
And the more I've noticed that, who was it? I think Michael Neal talked about, you know, if you want to play the game of life, or you want to go all in, and it doesn't mean all in with desperation and anything on it. It's just that you just let go, and it's amazing, because you know you're going to be fine regardless of what outcome. Even if you've got one, even if you've got attachment to something, it's going to play out how it is, and you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Now that is a different way of living, right? Or a different way of experiencing the world.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think slightly off topic, but I think that's what I would really like to do with this half-formed game idea that I have is give people an experiential, no, like an embodied experience of not being afraid of their own experience. Like, and I don't mean like bungee jumping and not feeling fear. I mean just like going, oh, it's okay to, you know, like to actually know in your body, like through and through, it's okay to feel pissed off or angry or scared, or like, you know, if we knew it was okay, like if we knew in our heads and in our hearts that it was okay, then like what would it matter? Like what would matter? Like what would we have to protect ourselves from all the time?
Yeah, I think
Why
that
would
would
we
be
have to
amazing.
control everything?
Yeah, I think that would be a great gift to give out to the world, because that's what stops everyone. I mean, you know, that's what Sid said, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Banks is like, if everyone just was not fearful of their own experience, that alone would, I don't know if that's exactly the words, but that alone would change the world, because people would just be okay, regardless. Imagine giving that as a gift to kids, you know? Because I've noticed that I don't have any children, but I've noticed with the people around me with kids and stuff, the more grounded the parents are, and they're showing that there's no reason to be fearful of that. The kids are free to do amazing things. And actually, even if we get in the way, the kids have got the capacity, it's pre-baked, right? They're fine anyway. But for someone else to show them that quite early on, while they're still malleable, wow, that's an amazing accelerant to go off and do wonderful things, you know? So yeah, I'd love to see that happen for sure.
Yeah. I just have to work out how now.
I'm sure that's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that bit's the messy middle. That'll sort itself out at some point anyway.
Yeah. But then you see, like, I don't have to do it. You know, like it'll either be created or not created, I guess.
Well, funny enough, now that where Mira's working, we're hanging around with a lot more techie people. So, for example, there's an AI-based company that makes a software that allows creatives or people working in film or games or anything to make generated music, but it's not just like a computer spat it out. It sounds great. And then there's other people, and wow. So nowadays, I think there's like you say, if we thought about it, there's a way around it, right? And actually, we don't even need to think too much about it. I'm pretty sure as soon as you've decided that you're going to do it, it will happen.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a time scale attached to it, so you have to be
Yeah.
realistic about, you know, when it will come out pre-baked. But yeah, I think that's a good message to give people, that there's nothing wrong with aiming for stuff that's seemingly impossible, because yeah, a lot of the times now I'm thinking, like you said, a lot of it can be done, especially from technology based. There's always a solution. Like
Yeah.
we were looking at this is off topic completely, but we were watching the back end of a documentary on Netflix about the planet and just how amazing it is, and that, you know,
Yeah.
we should remind ourselves that it's a system. It's already doing everything. It's a living organism, and
Mm.
people that's making a mess of it is us, because we're at the top of the food chain.
Mm.
Obviously, when the sun changes, which it will do, it's a massive nuclear reactor, same as the core of the planet, right? If it heats up too much, even by a slight amount, we're going to be toast. And then some engineers saying, not a problem. We'll knock the world off its current trajectory and axis, and that will push it just enough to be able to complete a new orbit. And I'm like, what? You know, so
Yeah.
you think that
Yeah.
things are impossible, and then some geek in the lab, he's sitting there and he's doing his math, and he's like, nah,
Yeah.
completely fine. We can do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it right now, but it's theoretically possible. So
Yeah. Yeah.
therefore it's going to happen. And I'm like, wow, okay, I'll shut up.
It's like, it's so cool to know that's true, and it's also like I found two concepts quite useful around that as well. Like one of them is like the I think it was Walter Murch who said it. He's like the editor of Apocalypse Now and stuff, and the sound designer for it. And he said something about if something was the heart of an idea, or if it was the umbilical cord. Like there's been so many times where I thought, you know, I've been really attached to an idea, and I've realised actually it's just been an umbilical cord to something else. Or sometimes it really has been the heart, and I've gone back to it. And the other concept is that the way I ended up doing WonderlandX and stuff in the first place, and some of the other projects which I hadn't talked about but did come out at that time as well, was by thinking, like, my aim was to get over to the other side of the river. It wasn't to get to a particular point on that side of the river. So in that way, I could just jump from whatever stepping stone or log that was floating by. And if I went with those, I would always get to the other side of the river. But it wasn't that I chose where I was going to land.
Yeah, it was going to happen.
Yeah. Whereas if I was very fixed, like I wouldn't go on that point in the river, I'd be missing all these logs because they wouldn't be any use to me.
It's funny, isn't it? When we have a fixed idea, there's nothing wrong with having a bit of a structure, right? But we can miss so many opportunities along the way. And like you say, how many ideas have you gone back? Like this, the reason why we're talking right now about this subject is because apparently Mira reminded me, I'd had this idea back in 2010, 2011, and then you forget it was parked, and then it came back out. The universe pointed me back to it, and it's like, okay, now it's the time, because I'm better placed because of the journey I've been on. But having tried to engineer that journey from back then, that would never have happened.
Yeah.
Because you're getting in the way of the machinery. It's like it's already playing out.
Just like the novel that I'm writing now. So I started writing that maybe 12, 15 years ago. And I couldn't finish it because I didn't. The whole point of the book was that how would this child be okay with the fact that their father had died? And it's like I wanted to know that because my father had died. So I was like, I need to write this book so I can fix myself and fix everyone else. And I had no idea how it could be okay. And at the end of the book, and it was only coming across the understanding like 12 years after I started it that I was like, oh, like I know now. I know how to finish the book. So it's like now so I'm in this scheme where this I've got a first look deal with this publisher who is actually like the guy who discovered J.K. Rowling, so it's exactly the right person that I need to look at it. And so it's like, but I couldn't have written out that journey 12 years ago, and I wouldn't have done it like that. I would have been like, my journey would have been like, I finished this in 6 months and get it published or whatever.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. So many times when I look at patients, right, I'm like, I want it done now. And then I look at so many things that have beared fruit in my life, but some of them have happened instantaneous, and others, like you say, have took decades. And I'm like,
Yeah.
wow. So I
Yeah.
think it's just been open to that possibility. And yeah, we're going to miss bits where we're, you know, we get urgency goggles on or any of that. But
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Ah.